And far too quickly, the weekend is over. Well, it was exactly relaxing. And it's another Monday. Hi, everybody. I'm Russ Kane. No idea where Neil Long is. He keeps his own time frame, it would appear. It's 12 o'clock. It is Monday, the, 29th September, almost gone. Almost gone. And we're heading into October. I hope you had a good weekend. As you can see, I'm not in my normal, not any of my normal places for broadcasting. Hello. Thank you for joining us. Joining me, I should say. Welcome to the Midday Show. I think the world gets madder and madder and madder. I've just seen that the NHS have just put out a document. And I read this and I had to read it several times because I thought, it's got to be right. And they're endorsing first cousin marriage. The NHS is endorsing first cousin marriage. There is only one group of people who want that. No one I know wants to sleep with their cousin. No one. What's the matter with you? Only one group of people want to do that. And that's what the NHS have done. They've been infiltrated. Let's go to rush across thousands of miles from where I am, which is mercifully not London, to Asa Don Brown in the northeastern United States. Hello and welcome, Asa. And belated happy birthday to Leslie Ian Jones. Showed my ID and here I am. Thank God. Now, ID card, obviously to get your ID card, you'll have to show them your passport. You'll probably have to show them your driving license and your national insurance number. So it's not like you've got any identification. What a pile of bullshit. Ladies and gentlemen, you know him. You love him. He's the funniest man within a 5.2 mile radius of the Tolworth Tower in southeast London. No, southwest. Mr. Neil Longie Long. Is he with us?
Oh, yes. Hello. How are you?
I'm okay-ish. I'm all right. I'm going through some big changes in my head. Big. So for me, doesn't affect anybody else. Just affects me. And oh no, hang on, Leslie Ian Jones. He does not have a passport, and he doesn't have a driving license. But you have a national insurance number. How are you going to get a digital ID? Longie, are you going to get a digital ID?
Well, if there was a dialogue, it would go something like this. Government, you need a digital ID. Me, why? I've got a passport and a driver's license.
That's it.
Government, but your passport or driver's license isn't secure enough anymore for your ID. Okay. So how do I get a digital ID? Well, says government, you just need to show us your passport or driver's license. And
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. It's insane, isn't it?
Morning, Julie. Haven't seen you on the timeline for a while. Good morning to you.
She's been quietly lurking in the shadows.
So are you okay, Albie? Everything all right with you?
A long story, which I'm not going to go into. The Tolworth Tower, the local tower of Mordor.
He's constantly taking the mickey out of me, Leslie Jones, nowadays.
That is not fair. I've noticed he's dropped the Ian part. It's just Leslie Jones now. It's a bit more cash. Soon it'll just be Les. Well, I'm having some big thoughts.
Go on,
about what the future. I don't think I can live in London anymore. I really don't. I'm done with it. Yeah, I'm done with it.
Where do you want to go?
I'll be. Well, it doesn't mind. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm just going to go. But I think that I'll be there for work. I'll be there for the weddings and I've got to leave where I am now as soon as I finish the show because I've got family meetings this evening. I don't mean with my family. I mean the family of the deceased. Funerals this week, funerals next week. So I've got to be in the area, but I don't think that's where I'm going to permanently.
What, commutable or proper moving away?
I don't know yet. Ian is for pro radio. What is this week? Ian is for pro. Oh, I see. Oh, you see what he did? You see what he did there? Ian is only for pro radio presenters. LOL. Does that face look like it's laughing? Does that face look like it's laughing? Leslie Ian Jones. Cheeky man. As your mate, Robert Van Buren, horology. He has some very nice stuff that he was fixing some beautiful clocks. Because I'm fanatical about clocks and watches. That's
you should see the clocks he's got. They really are amazing.
Oh, I'd love to. How would I see them though?
Well, you have to ask him, Leslie.
I have to ask Leslie Ian Jones. I'm not asking Leslie Ian Jones for anything at all.
No, you have to ask Robert.
Nicely.
Robert, not Leslie. Robert, you big sausage.
I'd have to ask Robert nicely, you said. Oh, I see. Watches are my thing. I don't wear jewelry. I never have had no interest in any of that. But I do like, not that you can wear a nice watch in London, so I never do, ever. Just wear I just wear a cheap watch I got off Amazon for 30 quid. Welcome, you want to nick that? It's great. Hell with you. But I won't wear my nice stuff. This thing is terrible, isn't it? Terrible. Can't wear nice stuff. Can't get your phone out. Madness.
Yeah.
Madness. Did you see the fight outside the Regent's Park Mosque?
No, what happened?
Holy moly. As somebody said, no, it's not a fight. It's just an enthusiastic dance. And the car that drove straight in off the road, they just were so excited to be part of the dancing that they couldn't wait and couldn't control themselves. Yeah, it's really, it was shocking. Shocking. Regent's Park.
What happened?
Well, who the hell knows? Who the hell knows? You know, the people who go to the mosque were beating the shit out of each other. Literally. You haven't seen anything like it.
Oh, so it was internal. It was them versus them.
It wasn't us knuckle-dragging far-right thugs, unquote. It was those guys beating the crap out of each other.
Okay.
With vehicles coming in, with more of those guys coming out, adding to the fracas. It was the most extraordinary scene. In central London, Regent's Park, which is it's my favourite park. It's a beautiful park. And many, many years ago, the British government allowed a huge, huge mosque to be built there. In return, I've never forgotten the deal. In return, they allowed in some, I don't know where the hell it was, a church somewhere. That was the trade-off. This enormous mosque. And there was a massive fight. Huge, massive fight. Anyway, didn't see any police there. Obviously not, because there weren't any hurty words. Francois Pascal, good afternoon, Russ and Neil. Nice to see both of you.
If you've got some time on the show today, I have to...
Just, it's Francoise, please.
Sorry.
Okay, fine, done now.
I have to tell you about Dave Sleet's Alpha Wave.
I want to hear about it. It was on my list of things to do.
It's incredible.
Talk to Neil about I want to hear all about it. Go, give us the background and give us the...
Now, Dave, are you here? Are you with us on the timeline?
Hang on. Are you there, Dave Sleet? Are you there? Not once for... No, I don't want you, Auntie Maud. Not Auntie Maud. Dave Sleet. No, I don't think he is. Not once for yes. Twice for no.
Are you mocking me, Russ?
Not in the least. I was simply doing a seance to see if Dave Sleet was with us.
Well, he's very much in the land of the living, and he's doing, I have to say, some incredible work.
Who, Dave Sleet? Yeah, it's great.
It's hard to get an idea of the scale of the work he's doing with what we talk about on here. But what he's doing, the organisation he's created, the way it weaves together every part of society that needs it, and puts a mental health take on everything and workable solutions for the problems that we're facing in the 21st century, in 2025, is unbelievable. It's absolutely incredible. It is grade A, brilliant work.
So is this a machine?
And I'll come on to that. And in a key part of it, he talks about anxiety being not be able to treat it when it's needed, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'm with that.
You know, if you have a panic attack, where's the help apart from breathing into a paper bag or something like that, which has mixed results, or booking an appointment and waiting.
Does it?
Or booking an appointment and waiting 6 to 18 months, which is not very useful when
you'll be dead by then. It's not worth it. Yes.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but
Well, you're not going to be well by then, are you? You've got to wait 18 months. If you're in absolute free fall, they go, yeah, we'll see you in 18 months' time. I don't think so.
My point exactly. So it needs to be delivered at the point of need. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, brainwaves. We all have brainwaves. Okay. We're made of energy and electricity. That might sound weird, but you put us under a microscope in a science lab, that's essentially what you'll see. If you've ever seen thought, this is quite fascinating. There's things on YouTube where they show a thought going across the brain, and it's incredible. It jumps. It's like in science and the science lesson where you have the two orbs and the spark would jump from one to the other. Those thoughts
kind of
jump,
like a Van de Graaff generator, Midday.
if you like, and they jump. They jump, and it's the neurotransmitters that make them jump from one to another. Serotonins, like electricity jumps, it sparks, and it's the neurotransmitters that make them jump. The serotonins, the dopamines, and all that sort of thing. I'm really glad Dr. Asa is on the timeline, because if I say anything he wants to correct it, or feel free to jump in, I will bow to your greater knowledge, Dr. Asa, because Dave did this fantastic presentation, and I made
but can Asa Don Brown do stand up? No. I rest my case. I'm not so impressed. Yeah, I said it.
Shall I continue?
I'd like you to. Of course I want. I'm very interested in this. I want to hear about it.
So an imbalance in brainwaves, it can affect all mammals, okay, not just human beings, okay. In human beings, an imbalance can lead to things like OCD, panic attacks, migraines, and all that sort of thing, okay. Now, if you imagine that there's 5 brainwaves, you've got gamma, which is really fast. You've got beta, which is the next one down, and that's where the trouble lies. And in beta, there's a range from low to high. So low and medium beta are where we operate, where we need to operate when in beta, when it's contextually right to be in beta. But we go into high beta, and that's where the anxiety can kick in, and the problems that I just said, the OCD, the panic attacks. And there's a really important bit, which I'll come on to in a second. There's gamma and delta and beta and alpha. And gamma and delta affect beta and alpha. So if you think of all these brainwaves, it's good. And the analogy Dave used brilliantly was an orchestra, and they all need to play harmoniously. So what conducts
very good
harmoniously? A conductor. Okay. So if you imagine the conductors at the front, all right, and then next one nearest the audience is the beta waves, and the rest of them go in a kind of a curve backwards. The point is the beta waves are right in front, and they're absorbing all the negativity from the audience. But here's the key thing. The beta doesn't know that the rest of the orchestra is there as backup. It thinks it has to play solo. That's why any mental condition, as I've said 1,000 times on this show, feels so isolating, because it's not alone, but it feels like it is. Now, what the alpha wave does is grab hold of the beta and go, whoa, slow down a bit. Slow down. Let's get you back in line. Let's get you in your proper place. You got back up. You got support. And now I'm going to conduct you harmoniously with the rest of the orchestra.
And this is Dave Sweet's way of, what's the word I'm looking for, presenting it in a way that we can all understand, because we're not scientists. And
Basically.
Well, it makes
perfect sense. Research. So beta waves, and I'm not saying get rid of them. The conductor doesn't get rid of a part of the orchestra, but he just puts it where it should be. You wouldn't get rid of a new puppy that was mischievous, but he wouldn't let it.
No, of course not.
Yeah, but you wouldn't let it wreck the house either. So you can't. So beta waves is about alertness, logic, survival, capacity to function. When you get into high beta, that's 22 to 30 hertz. That's anxiety or excitement. Thank you, Dr. Asa.
I'm pleased you understand.
That's my praise from you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Although I can't take credit for the analogy. That's Dave's.
I'm going to read it as an extra in Deliverance. Thank you very much. Here's my audition tape. I'm pleased you understood my human Neil. Very nice description, details of the neural pathways and connectivity. Thank you very much. Russ Kane, my agent's Keith Bishop. Thank you.
Yeah, don't give up the day job. You made him sound like a redneck, and that's really rude.
He's on to the teeth. He walks around with a Bowie knife clenched between his teeth. That's how redneck that man is.
So, alpha comes from a part of the brain called the occipital lobe. Okay. And this is the important bit. This bridges the conscious and subconscious minds, but it
All right.
can be blocked by high beta. That's the thing.
All right. Now you're
Again,
beginning to lose me. I'm not following.
well,
Seriously,
do you remember I
I was
said,
doing pretty good, but now I'm
well,
lost.
if you stop interrupting for 2
I'm not
nanoseconds, you
following,
might hear
I'm
me.
listening.
Right. So do you remember I said that beta is at the front of the orchestra and it thinks
Yes,
it's
I
by
do.
itself? Right.
Yes, sir.
So it's firing away there all by itself, not even aware that the alpha wave is there because it's blocked.
Yes, Mr. Long, I
Okay?
remember.
So we need to bring the alpha wave back into play.
Okay.
When you experience alpha waves, you experience calm. And another key thing is the alpha waves bridge the conscious and the subconscious mind. That's why Einstein said, I had all my best ideas in the shower. That's why when you can't think of someone's name and then you're relaxing doing something else, suddenly it flashes into your head. That's why.
And I will add to that when I'm putting together my 1.5 hour stand-up shows, when I'm walking, that's when it comes to me. Not if I'm sitting at a desk. You're exactly right. Exactly right.
Exactly. And why? Because walking has relaxed you, put you in alpha receptive mode. Subconscious and conscious minds are bridged. Boom.
Yep.
Easy.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Alpha
Yeah,
is the conductor
so
of the alpha is the conductor of the orchestra. Okay. Now it's completely safe treatment, but the only caveat is when the waves meet, the beta and alpha, it can be a little bit of a shock. It's like, whoa, where did you come from? So just for an easy experience for the recipient, it's backed up with breath work. So if someone is in a panic attack, they put the gadget on, which I'll tell you about in a minute.
Then he's here. He's here. The man has arrived. We are talking
Dave,
about
hi.
you, Dave.
We're just talking about alpha waves.
Bloody show's dedicated to you.
I'm just talking about that brilliant seminar that you did and the incredible work that you're doing in all fields of life and delivering what's needed where it's needed. If you rewind the show, I've really been bigging you up for the last 5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, I've met you.
So when beta and alpha can meet, if there is a bit of a clash, for want of a better word, people might experience that as a bit of a shock, nothing too much. But then once the machine's on and the alpha wave is then dominant, then breath work can be used to calm the person right down and to keep them receptive. Okay. The vagal nerve, which we hear a lot about in the holistic sort of talk, vagal nerve runs all the way through the body. The vagal nerve. Yes, it is true that stimulating that leads to relaxation, parasympathetic nervous system. That's all true, but it can only be accessed in mid beta, not high beta. All right. And that's about it from the notes that I got. Although there was
thank God it's so simple.
I really recommend you go and do his seminar if you can.
But anyway, I want to hear about the machine. There's a machine, right?
So the machine, I'll just pop this on from Leslie.
So how did
Neil's
you get
explanation makes sense. Thank you. Well, I've always been at the back of my orchestra with my little ding-a-ling. Playing with your little ding-a-ling at the back of the orchestra. I bet you were. Anyway, I can only apologize for him. So it's a tiny machine. It's only about that big. Probably about the size of a mobile phone. Maybe that big with the top bit cut off.
Well, luckily, I've got a tape measure on hand.
A little bit bigger than that. A little bit bigger than that. No, you're just showing off. No, liar. Anyway. So you get these kind of crocodile clip things. It doesn't hurt, with like soft pads on, and you put them on your earlobe. And I've got big earlobes, which I inherited from my grandma. So thanks for that, Gran. Then you get conducting fluid. Okay. There's me thinking of the Green Mile at that point.
Stop it! Please stop about the conducting fluid, because I'm getting a bit.
No. And then he turns it on. Okay, and he said at some point you will feel it, and I'm like, yeah. And he turned it on. I felt a tingling in my earlobe.
Did he send you this, or are you with him? I'm lost. When? When were you with him?
I went to his seminar on Friday.
Well, you didn't explain that at the front end of this beautiful explanation.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought you knew. Yeah, I
went. How would I know? I don't follow you around.
He was doing a seminar, and I met this lovely lady who was already a therapist, and she's from Vancouver, where I've been. So we had a nice chat about that.
Vancouver,
lovely lady called Taj, and she's already a practicing therapist. Anyway, I had a go, and she was observing. Now, remember, she's a therapist, and they're trained in what you call in NLP, sensory acuity. And in English, that means basically watching for subtle changes. Your eyes soften, your shoulders relax, your breathing changes, just observing what the patient is doing and presenting. Sensory acuity, that's called. Right. And Dave said, you'll feel it. So I put it on and I felt the tingle. And then suddenly I felt like, oh, bit woozy, like I've got up too quickly. And that was the alpha wave kicking in. And then I just relaxed. And I was in this deepest state of relaxation, a bit like what meditation is supposed to be, that like a relaxed alertness.
Yeah.
And I felt the alpha wave. And they watched my body movements, my sensory acuity change. Taj and Dave both observed. When I was in the seminar, I was listening and my hands were like that. Then I relaxed and my hands went like that, which is not
like Larry Grayson.
London. I know, in some parts of London, not that desirable. But anyway, they did.
They do that in Old Compton Street. You'll have loads of new friends.
Yeah, right. I could make a fortune. But anyway, so my hands were
they
like
big lobes, apparently.
My eyes softened as well, and I felt deeply relaxed, but very present and in the moment.
And how long did this take for you sitting there?
Minutes.
And then, how long?
Minutes. Not even that. A couple of minutes.
Shut up.
And I was in alpha.
Couple of minutes.
Now, remember, the beta wave thinks it's all by itself. So imagine the amount of people, you extrapolate that in society, that are in high beta, in anxiety, in panic, in nose to the grindstone, in burnout, in all the unhealthy states.
Hello.
And no one knows there's an alternative. We're all sort of suffering together, but no one knows. We think it's just reality because in the individual experience, the beta wave thinks it's all by itself. It doesn't know it's got the support of the rest of the orchestra. This brings it all back into balance with the alpha wave conducting. Can you imagine how effective therapy would be if you were in this?
I don't care about the therapy. I just want this thing. I want this machine.
Then go and see Dave and go and see Dave and go to his seminar.
Fife in Scotland. I haven't got time.
He's not in Scotland.
Well, but he's meant to be in Fife in Scotland with Seuss. I can't keep up.
It was in Wanstead.
Well, that's south of the river. He was in Wanstead, but I'm going to go and see him. I
suggest you do. It is absolutely, and it needs people like us in the media.
What's he doing in Wanstead? Hang on a minute.
Because what I saw, the work he's done, not just this one solution, but the solutions he's thought of for every walk of society, and weaved in with a mental health take and delivery at the point of necessity, rather than, when the too late to shut the stable door because the horse has bolted. I'll say it again. His work is incredible. It's fucking incredible. Yeah, I was so impressed.
Good. It's fucking incredible. Now, here's the thing. How many of you were there in this seminar? Why didn't I know about it? Why didn't I hear about it? Dave Sleet, you're fired.
I wouldn't do that if I were you. It's too valuable.
I'm firing. I've known him for years. Met him many times.
Oh, he was telling me the old Capital stories, how you got to know each other. Had all the good stories. We had a good nostalgia session.
The worst thing is I can't remember bloody any of it. It's shocking, isn't it? My mind, I can't remember. Just gone.
That's probably a good thing, given what he said. No, that was a joke. I'm joking.
Probably.
Teasing.
Most of my life, Mr. Big Lobes, is probably best forgotten. That's the way.
But honestly, folks, I would not come on a radio show and evangelize like this if I wasn't. My mind was blown. It was incredible.
Okay, so a few questions. How long did this relaxed state last after they managed to get the crocodile clips of your massive lobes?
Would you like me, if you like, to bring Dave on and you can ask him the question because he explains it a lot better than me.
Get hold of Dave A. Sleet.
Dave, if you're willing to pop on, I would love to have you on.
You're kidding me.
And Russ can ask you the question.
You're kidding me here?
You do it better than I do. And I wouldn't like to...
What size lobes do you need for them to fit?
Undersell it. It fits on all ear lobes.
Okay, you see, this is the difference. You're very intellectual, and I'm asking the questions that the audience all over the world needs to know. We need the meat and potatoes. We're meat and potatoes guys. And Liz, just pay my electricity bill. Now I need therapy. I know. I think that, God. Anybody else getting a heat exchanger? Never going to happen. Anyone going to get an ID card? Never going to happen. Anybody want to marry their cousin? Never going to happen. It's a country out of control, mate. It's a country out of control.
While we're waiting to see if Dave came on, certain areas like
how do you know? How do you know if he's going to come on? Have you sent him a telepathic message? Or
number one, he's listening. So we were talking about it. At number two, he probably heard when I said I've sent him a link in Facebook.
I'm trying it.
Seen in Portsmouth.
What does that say?
Happy 30th birthday, Grandma Nan.
Oh, yeah, I love that one. I love that one. I love that joke. How do you know when you're getting near Liverpool? It was a wonderful... I've seen comedians do it in various ways, but, you know, when I go to the north of England, it kind of goes like this. This is how they ramble.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
They go,
do you know what somebody accused me of over the weekend?
What? Being too handsome?
No,
plagiarism. Don't tell me to
Yeah.
sod off.
I said, mate, that's your words, not mine.
I walked straight into that.
You did.
Anyway, the gag goes something like this. You know, I don't like living in London. I love it when I go to the north of England and see the audiences up there. They're so much warmer and so much caring. There was a beautiful sign. It was across one of the motorway little bridges, and they'd written it themselves. And I thought it was so touching. It said, "Happy 30th birthday, Nan." And it just, the first time I heard that joke, it just was like,
one shared eyebrow. But there's places down south like that. I did a gig.
Of course there is, but it's a great
I did a gig in the wilds of Kent once, and I've never experienced a heckle like this. While I was doing my set, somebody got, the giant cheesy Wotsits.
Is this a euphemism or is this some sort of snack? No,
yeah,
right.
cheesy
Wotsits. Okay, well, I know what yeah.
They're like, for American listeners, they're like puffs, if you know what I mean, or Cheetos or something like that.
Yeah,
but these giant versions.
They're a snacking food.
Yeah, it's a snacking food, but a giant one, so it's like a bigger version. They stuck it up someone's bottom while I was live doing the set. I've never been heckled that way before.
Please tell me you're joking.
No, I'm not. I've never had a heckle like that.
Physically got a
giant cheesy Wotsit
and shoved it up their mate's backside.
Yes.
In front of everybody.
In front of everyone.
I have no response.
There's not much you can say, really, is there? But that was the thing.
What point were they making? I'm sorry, my mind is now full of a particularly unpleasant mental image of a cheesy Wotsit going up someone's bottom.
So we can carry on talking about this unless Dave joins us. You're very welcome to, Dave, if you've not got time.
Dave, are you coming on or not, mate?
Well, I'd love to have you back on and
stop teasing us. Stop,
because everyone needs
with
to know
the
about this.
intellectualness. What does this say?
Brilliant.
Leslie
Absolutely
Ian
brilliant.
Jones. In karate, you learn a stake. Mushin, empty mind. Sensei said I've been import advantage. I don't need to. A lot of work, empty mind. Do you ever have that? Do you ever have a moment when there's just nothing going through your head at all? Nothing. Like nothing.
It's quite not. Yes.
Do you? I never do.
When I was in the alpha wave. Because it calms down. This is what I should have said. It calms down that inner chatter, that constant inner voice, that constant stress, that constant inner chatter. It calms it right down. It's not there. It can't exist in alpha. The frequency's different. The frequencies have to match. It's a bit like trying to tune to Capital Radio, but tuning to Kiss 100. The frequencies don't match. You can't have that experience in alpha. And you can't have the relaxed experience, the deeply relaxed experience in beta. That's why it's so valuable.
I worry about this, man. Nothing in my head except Roadrunner.
I love Roadrunner. I love Roadrunner.
Oh, Jesus. The Acme Factory. The Acme Factory. Right, let's bring this genius on. I'm going to give him the 3rd degree. He better be ready. Oh, where's he gone? There he is. There he is. Right. And now I'm going to change it so that
I'm going to shut up and let Russ.
No, stop. I want to do this. Come here, work.
I know what you're trying to do.
There we
are.
No, don't put me on full screen. Come on, that's not fair.
I'm going to shut up and let Russ do the asking. Dave, can I just say in publicly, that was one of the most incredible and valuable mornings I've had in a long time. And if you rewind this show, you'll heard all the lovely things I've said about you. It was incredible, your work. So thank you.
Thank
he
you.
Hasn't been so excited since he met up with Doris at number 33, the High Street above the kebab shop. I tell you, it's a fact.
You promised you wouldn't tell him about that. I was drunk. It meant nothing.
I had my fingers crossed when I promised I'd keep it a secret. Now, Dave A. Sleet, who is the Grand Fromage at A&A, Dave and I go back like forever, and he's been on the show. He's been on the show many, many times. was very kind enough to give us one of the first awards we ever picked up, which was wonderful, and I much appreciated back in the day under a slightly different incarnation. Now, I saw a tweet or a message from Neil Longie Long, he of the huge lobes, massively, unfathomably huge lobes, and by his own admission, I didn't even know, but he's insisted on sharing, about your machine. Walk us through this machine, because I need it in my life, I've decided.
Yeah, you do.
Okay.
No,
Wow.
no.
So thanks for the invite. I was in transit when that came through. So,
Other vans are available.
Well, yeah. And TFL's big red ones could really do with moving a little bit faster when I've got an invite to honour.
Yeah.
But
Okay. Right.
So
here we go.
the device. This is the device.
Wow.
It is literally that big. And
Okay.
right, so it's created by a company called Alpha Stim, and they are ultimately a US-based company who operate in the UK and the device has been approved by NICE. It is approved FDA stateside and has been in use in one shape or another for the last 4 decades. This is not new technology. It is just enhanced technology. So alpha waves, and the analogy that I use, and Neil's now experienced this, is if you think about the brain waves as an orchestra.
Okay.
Each brainwave has a very specific role to play. It has a specific task, and it's positioned within that orchestra in a very specific placement because they connect to each other and they support each other. We've been told so many times by the academic world about brainwaves as though they operate in isolation. And that's just simply not true. The brain can't function like that. So as I heard Neil going over the differences in beta waves and why beta wave is kind of our kind of predominant brain wave that makes the most amount of noise. Okay. And people that come to the seminar will be able to delve into what those brain waves do, why they're placed where they are, and how they connect. But ultimately, the alpha wave is the conductor. It's the alpha wave that sets the tone for all of the noise that the brain's orchestra creates. And it's that control factor. So when alpha waves are really low, the musicians in our brain just go nuts. They can play whatever they want. They can, and invariably, the beta wave section just gets loudest, and it drives us towards that negative high beta state, which Neil was talking about. Okay. And when we're in that high beta state, that's where we get anxiety. That's where we get all of the fear factors kicking in. And it's the brain wave, or the component of the beta brainwave, that is most linked to negative influences. It's why the media or mass media drive negative energy, because it connects to the part of the brain that isn't listening to any of the other parts. So we tap into that high beta wave state, and we don't realize, because we're in survival mode on that wavelength, that all of the other waves are still there trying to support and get away from that negative state. It's a bit like the violinist who gets the solo seat and all of a sudden the orchestra doesn't matter. That's the best way of describing what happens when we go into a high beta wave state. We're not listening to anything else our brain's telling us. But that can't exist when the conductor's on stage and that alpha wave is being pushed through. And that's what this device does better than anything else I've seen in the last 25 years at generating alpha wave in a way that's safe, in a way that can be used for absolutely anybody, and can be used for an hour, can be used for 20 minutes, can be used multiple times in a day. But the impact is in your control. And unlike Bruce,
why is the impact in our control?
because you control the level and the frequency at which you're using the device. So if you're having panic attack after panic attack after panic attack, 120-minute session is going to struggle to get that conductor in control of everything. You're going to need more, but you're in control of going, okay, give me some more of this. Let's get back in. So you're not waiting for medication to kick in. You're not relying on self-medication. And we know the when we start going to self-medication, the negative energy is kind of promoted because it's not listening to anything else. So this is why I think what Neil has experienced has made him the advocate that he clearly has become. And I'm really grateful, Neil. Thank you so much for being there on Thursday. And it was incredible. And that is in reach of.
And it didn't take me long to get into alpha. And you and Taj just saw what happened. You saw me change in front of your very eyes.
Yeah. I mean, 4 minutes was the first full reaction. And that started in the hands, the wrists, then to the elbows, then to the shoulders, then to the neck, and then completely sat back in the chair. And all of that process took a matter of, I'd say, 6 to 8 minutes. And then the remaining 12 minutes was simply just enjoying that state.
Yes, it was. And the wonderful thing was, I mean, people learn to meditate, and sometimes meditation used to take years of devoted and boring practice to be able to reach that state. And now 4 minutes with the appliance of science. Sorry to make it sound like a washing machine, but but that was Zanussi, wasn't it? The appliance of science. Literally, and this is revolutionary.
But why, if it's been going for, all right, I've got two big questions. Well, no, two questions. First is, what if you're not in a panic attack, but you're generally pissed off the whole time?
Neil?
It's impossible to feel pissed off when you're in alpha. Pissed off is a product of high beta.
And how long does this sort of magical effect, Dave, how long does it last? What's the
well, we've had people go through this as part of our walk-in service, and they've all kind of come back with roughly the same kind of feedback. Is once they're on the device, it starts to work within minutes. Once they go through the device, they have that kind of woozy reconnection once it's finished, which lasts a matter of seconds. And then the rest of their day, they are in that calmer state. Wow. To the point where people are going, I've had it at lunchtime and I've had the best night's sleep in years.
Tell Russ the story about the mum of 3 kids that had the first best night.
Oh, yeah. So one of the first people that tried this as part of our walk-in service, a mum of 3 and 3 teenagers who openly, and the reviews on our website, they openly said, I am triggered on a day-to-day basis by teenagers. That's life, unfortunately. But when she experienced this for the first session, and she's had 2 or 3 sessions since, but on her very first session, the drive home after work, completely calm. In the evening, she wasn't being triggered by her children. She got the best night's sleep, and the following day she was ready to brace the world. And I think for anyone who's going through, like you say, Russ, it's not just panic attack intervention. It's for that kind of beta wave that we are driven to be in by the world around us.
Yeah.
Being able to take control of that and go, okay, you can have low and you can have mid, but I am not letting my brain go into high beta wave. That gives us a level of control over how we interact with the world. And
in 4 minutes. And it could take years with traditional brain training. It evolved a bit with neurofeedback. I suppose that was all part of the journey, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And now, like you say, this is a refined technology. But Leslie Jones, research, he's been doing his research, says there's 5 types of brainwave. That's right, Leslie, yeah. Gamma, alpha, beta, delta, and theta. Me wonders if there's more undiscovered with their own unknown
and most
effects.
people don't know that. So the thing with all of those brainwaves that just got listed, the one thing that most people are never told of is delta waves are dissipating from birth. And by the time we're into our mid-70s to early 80s, the brain can no longer produce delta waves.
Hence grumpy old men.
It's not just men, come on, we know.
Okay.
It's part of the brain's aging process, which are kind of responsible for the real flavor at which our brains engage with the world, the kind of mood, everything else. That starts to take away as we get older.
If this has been around for 40 years, as you said about 10 minutes ago, why isn't it A, more commonly known about, and B, distributed correctly to people who need it?
I've got 2 words for you. Pharmaceutical industry. This device can be used multiple times, and the device itself is guaranteed for 5 years.
And no drugs?
It has an impact within minutes. It is no drug dependency at all. Once you've got this device, there is no revenue to be made.
No, that's it.
And I remember you saying something in the seminar, just back to the lack of delta waves as we get older, but they can be filled with delta wave, but they can be filled with alpha waves. The gap of delta leaves room for alpha, so it can help the older parts of our population as well. Just you mentioned that in the seminar, didn't you?
How much does it cost?
Yeah,
because I'm asking the question everybody.
Yeah, well remembered. So, Wanstead Mental Health Clinic can retail these out at £500 flat, and bear in mind that's in essence £100 a year.
Yeah, that's money well spent.
When the vast majority that are taking medication in that same time period will spend almost double that.
500 quid.
Now, what we can do, and what Alpha Stim have done, is create a rental package. And if anybody is interested in being able to rent the device, then we can facilitate that with Alpha Stim. And
it's probably cheaper to buy it outright, I guess, isn't it? Long term. Yeah.
How would you, before you're making a purchase like that, which is what we call a considered purchase, not an impulse purchase, obviously, how do you try it out to see if it's any good for you? I'm not saying if it's any good for you. Okay,
so the one thing that we have done is make sure that there is that satisfaction or return, and that's in play. We do advise that, as much as we are limited by where our location, we do advise people to come and try this with a professional first. And that is simply so that you can have the explanation behind what's going on beyond what can be put into a leaflet, a pamphlet, and it opens up to additional support if that is going to be beneficial. Because it's very easy for somebody to take a solution and go, oh, great, this does exactly what I need it to do. But there's underlying psychological impacts, there's traumas, etc., that this isn't going to do anything with. So we would advise to have a conversation with one of the team before kind of making that.
And I have a theory. If we're talking about trauma or any kind of therapy, and this is my theory, so correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, but wouldn't therapy be so much easier to receive when you're in the alpha state and to process things in the alpha state?
Yeah. We offer clients the opportunity to have 10 minutes of alpha wave support before a therapy session and 10 minutes after a therapy session.
Great.
Because ultimately, when you're in an alpha wave kind of dominant state, you are going to be more relaxed. All of the rejections and personal beta wave noise is going to be reduced, which makes engaging with therapy that much easier. But we also know that when somebody has finished a really tough therapy session, the beta waves are chomping at the bit to come back in. And all of that negative self-talk really kicks in after a therapy session. This way, we can actually keep that alpha state going for longer and make things that much calmer for some.
And it does last, because it lasted into the evening with me. I didn't just like get unhooked and go, back to a cold, uncaring world. It lasted. And I was walking to the tube station with Taj afterwards. We're having a good old chat. We shared the tube back to Stratford. She was going shopping there to get some gifts to take back to Canada. And it lasted. And I was just in that totally, and I was having a really sort of intelligent, in-depth conversation. She was an incredibly intelligent lady. And we were
she's absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah. Doing amazing things in Canada. My first experience, says Asa Don Brown, use of a biofeedback machine was possibly 32 years. Yeah, because like you say, it's not new. Biofeedback and neurofeedback have proven themselves in the field of psychotherapy. I recommend that any type of feedback occurs alongside traditional psychotherapy, because I suppose we're at the exciting time now in human history, I suppose, where we can measure this stuff. Normally, it had to be taken on, I suppose, faith, if you like. You know, you go, you meditate. Did they even have the vocabulary of brainwaves back in the ancient days? Probably not.
No. But what they did understand is that we switched from that meditative, connective thought processes to a pharmaceutical intervention. And it was a jump of faith that these pills and these potions were going to work better than what we'd had before.
I'm not saying I would be without them necessarily, but
no, I'm not.
I know you're not. I'm sorry. I know you're not. And I wouldn't be either. But for me, pills and potions have always been the jump lead to get you back. Not this permanent dependency, which is what the pharmaceutical companies want, of course. Solution, and also it became like a pill for every ill. Oh, you're a bit shy. Take a pill. And I'm thinking, no, this is skills needed, not pills. It just went too far. It went the pendulum swung too far in the other direction.
Does it make you sleep? Are you feeling sleepier?
No. It was like if you read about meditation, they say the mind goes into a relaxed alertness. It almost sounds like a paradox, doesn't it? How can it be relaxed and alert at the same time?
Used to do it. Yeah.
But it did. And for me, it felt very relaxed, very in the moment, very present, but still aware and alert. And another thing, I get very sleepy in the afternoons. I sometimes sleep in the afternoons.
Yep.
And I was getting sleepy in the afternoon a bit at the seminar. I'm sort of forcing myself to stay awake because that'd be pretty rude. But then when I went on the machine, I lost the sleepiness. I just felt relaxed, but not sleepy.
Okay,
and
that's interesting.
Went home and I was raving about it to my girlfriend, to Nadia. And she asked a very good question. Well, would anything get done? And I said, no, it's not like that. It's not like bumming out on the sofa and doing nothing. It's more productive. It's more productive because you will approach things in a much better way if you are in this alpha mindset state. Beta wave is running around like a headless chicken, feeling you've got to do it all alone. Alpha wave is not.
Yeah. I mean, the device has a lanyard for a reason, right? And the idea is that you can move around, you can carry on doing things. You will find that alertness comes into play, but you're alert and calm to be able to focus on what you need to be doing.
And that is a much better way of approaching
away.
things than the high beta way, which most of us think is the only way. Because high beta, like you said in the seminar, thinks it's all alone. It doesn't. It's got the support of the rest of the orchestra. So everyone's running around in high beta, thinking, "God, there's got to be more to life than this." I feel shit. I feel burnt out. I feel panicky. I can't do it all by myself. And that's all high beta stuff. But this is just honestly, I would rave about it all day. I'm so glad you came on this morning, Dave, because I wanted you to come on and.
Do you use it yourself?
Yes.
How often?
Last week, every other day.
And after meeting me for about 4 hours, oh my God.
I'll tell you why last week was a kind of, for me, it was a high use week, right? One, the seminar was coming up, and it was the first time that we've kind of put our analogy for brainwaves out to the public. Okay. Now that's, for me, as a non-academic, a very, very scary place to be, because academics have talked about brainwaves in isolation. The public understanding of brainwaves has never been cohesive, and putting something out for the first time that says, let's look at this in a different way, for me personally, was anxious.
Well, I tell you what, I can understand why you felt anxious, but I thought your analogy of the orchestra was brilliant. And I think I remember saying to you on the day, you've put it in a way, you've put something very complicated and years of research into it, but you've brought it alive rather than sort of dry science. You've put it in a dry sort of scientific theory. You've put it in a way that brings it alive and makes it simple and understandable, but without being naff.
Something I can remember a conversation with a certain Mr. Kane telling me, you know what, the more we can do this, the more people will understand things.
Well, that's the point. That's the point. You know,
I do listen, Russ.
But people are turned off by, you know, a scientist comes on, they're not the most communicative of people. It's why, to give us a ridiculous example, somebody like originally Patrick Moore to a degree, but then Brian Cox comes on, and Brian Cox starts to explain the most complicated things that we know, the very outer edges of known science and scholastic study. But he communicates it in a way that the man in the street, i.e. all of us watching the show, understand.
And there's been other pioneers through the years. Johnny Ball, for goodness sake.
Johnny Ball, James Burke, any of those people. They're all marvelous. What was the reaction at the seminar, Dave?
I think Neil's probably going to be able to answer that better. I
want to know from you. It's your seminar.
For me, my reaction to the way the seminar was received, the feedback. Thursday afternoon, I was buzzing. I was really
deservedly so, sir. Deservedly
really
so. I will say it publicly, live on the radio. I completely endorse your work. It's brilliant.
I get that. But what I was trying to get to, Longie of the Lobes, Neil Longie, is this. You shouldn't have told me that because it's fascinating. What I wanted to get to is this. There you were. You're human like the rest of us. And you were very worried about something. And what I'm asking on a human level is, were you satisfied? Were you able to pat yourself on the back and go, that went well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's taken me a long time to get to those points of being able to do that whenever I've been
proud of you. But the interesting is that's quite a dichotomy, because I've known you for years, right? And you're proud of your work. I mean, you're evangelical about your work, and you always have been. You've always explained it to me in a beautiful way, either on the radio or when we've met over a coffee or something. But I always wonder, but what about him? Is he happy with how it's gone? Is he satisfied with the work he's doing? Is he able to step back and go, yeah, that went pretty
But remember,
good.
the alpha wave will take you out of the realm of the inner critic.
Oh, good luck. You need a machine.
Yeah.
Oh, this way.
You got to try it, Russ.
It's not
the size of a.
You got to try it, dude.
Yeah,
it's not often in any of our seminars where we are able to expose other elements of the work that we do. But because of explaining how connectivity works with the alpha wave, it makes perfect sense to demonstrate the connectivity of the work. Because we wouldn't be able to do everything that we've done in the last 7 years with APA, the last 9 months with the mental health clinic, if they weren't connected. And by demonstrating the connectivity of all of the programs, and the community learning platform has, I think, 16 different support programs for different areas of life. We have all of the peer support stuff for professionals. Again, that's above and beyond what most people experience as professionals. We wouldn't be able to do any of that if we weren't tapping into the connectivity of all of that brainwave creation. Mm-hmm. And yes, we understand that there are times where we are going to have a high beta wave kind of stand up and go solo moment. But most orchestras do as well, only they have a conductor to keep it in check. And that's the alpha wave. And that's what really comes across in the seminar. It's one of the things that I am most proud of, is being able to demonstrate the whole spectrum of how
you've got some support from across the pond. Dr. Asa wants to know if you intend on broadcasting or streaming your seminars.
We are looking into the whole process of broadcasting,
because that is very possible and easy to do nowadays.
Yeah, and it's just about time within the facility to be able to do that, and obviously making sure all of the infrastructure for that is in play for the organisation. But yes, we are looking at it. We are, just because of the demand that came on the back of last week, we are going to do an evening seminar in November, the beginning of November, where we're going to kind of crunch everything down into just 3 hours and give as much of that information as possible, so people have got the opportunity.
I'd love to be able to bring my girlfriend to the next one, because I think it would help her so much.
And sit in the back row, you dirty.
Oh, shut up!
It's not really. It's not that kind of space. Not yet, anyway.
every space. No, Dave, I've known Neil for 30 plus years. Every space is that kind of space when it comes to this boy. He doesn't care.
I'll make sure they don't sit on the
romantic. Sofa. He's romantic off the scale of romance. This is a fact.
I don't know what kind of aspersions you're trying to cast, but I don't think I like the cut of your jib, Mr. Kane.
You're a romantic fellow. All right. How long was the seminar that Longie went to? How long was that?
If you take out lunch and kind of start-up breaks, you're talking about 4 hours.
Okay, that's substantial.
And it's interesting as well. I found the lecture at the beginning very
Did everybody get a go on your machine?
Everyone that wants to experience it can experience
it. What apart from Longie, who obviously is now fully sold on the concept and the reality of it, what were the experiences of the other people who tried it?
If I said the feedback form, which we give to people at the beginning of a session, not at the end.
Yeah.
So they're kind of rating the session as it goes.
Oh dear. Ooh, okay.
Everything came back in the excellent box.
But to answer my question, Mr. Starmer, which is a nice political answer, but I'd like my question answered. How many people tried it and what did they think of it? Neil can't answer because we know Neil's answer. I'm curious. That's all. I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I just want to know.
The feedback is much like Neil's.
Wow.
Much like
wow.
Neil's. Look, guys, it's already hit 1. I need to jump out of the room for one of our professionals to get in for their client.
You're with 2 professionals, boy.
Dave, would you like the footage of this sent over to you? Would that be useful?
That'd be brilliant. Thank you very much.
I'll do it later.
Brilliant.
You'll get it by
Thanks
Christmas.
for being on.
Bye. Is that the bye you? Goodbye. You've gone. Right. Hang on. I'm going back to how we like to be. Or is it like that? No, like that. All right. I didn't realise the time had gone. Blimey. Interesting dude. Interesting. He's the loveliest man. He is the loveliest.
And the work he's doing in the world is incredible. If you ever feel bad about the state of the world, knowing there's people like Dave putting out that kind of work, it really does.
What we need in this country is 65 more million Daves. Then we got a fight. Then we got a fighting chance of surviving. We haven't at the moment.
No, you need strategic placement of these interventions.
You see, what you've just said is a full circle of what I said at the very beginning of the show, just before you joined. And what I said was, this morning, the NHS, and if you're watching in America, don't know what that is, the National Health Service, put out that it's okay, and they endorse marrying your cousin.
What?
Read it. So the only reason that would happen is if you've been infiltrated by people who do that, not by people who think it's clearly biologically highly dodgy,
unwise,
and morally repulsive. Anyway.
Plus, my cousin's a bloke, and I just don't fancy him.
Doesn't seem to stop certain people, does it? Anyway, there we are. I mean, if you're going to put up, barriers to you having a great time, obviously, then you could chest feed. The point I'm trying to make is my final point, and I've got to go. I've got hundreds of miles to drive. But the point I'm going to make is this: is that if we had more Dave Sleets making the world a better place, rather than people infiltrating the police, the judiciary, the NHS, government, and behind the scenes of government, the world would be a much better place. That's all. And I think
I'm not going to be here on Wednesday. I'm taking the day off. Was that to be rude? I'm taking the day off.
I know. Why? Because, I will do my best. I'm somewhat up against it this week with funerals, but I will do my absolute best. Wow, just wow. It says Julie.
Perhaps Liz will fill in on Wednesday.
Phil, I was going to say. Oh, Liz.
Liz will fill.
Liz will fill.
Careful. Julie, what are you wowing at? Julie Voice.
The conversation with yeah.
Is that blowing your mind? Julie, I'm telling you, it's incredible.
Yeah.
It's absolutely incredible. It's revolutionary. I'm really excited about it. As you can see.
Because, by the way, if you think this is just for the show, that Neil, he sent me an email, which you didn't have to do, he was raving about this. Neil is not someone who raves about stuff. That is it for today. Longie's off on Wednesday. I will do my very best. He'll be back in a week's time. I will be back hopefully in a couple of days' time. Fingers crossed if I can get my schedule correct. I won't be around on Friday because funeral. So we're going to see if we can bring in the troops for that. Until then, take care. Longie, thank you for that. I really, really enjoyed listening to your experiences. I know you think I'll take the piss, but I really, really enjoyed it. It was
that's all right.
Much food for thought. Until we meet again, remember my final words of warning. No hurty words. Bye-bye.